Welcome back, everyone, to Wandering the Wildwood with Pine Leaf, where we have rescued Stomper over here, and I'm sure that makes Minda Heathertoes very happy. Let's find out what she needs me to do now to make her even more happy.
Please, stay a moment.
I imagine you're probably wondering what a hobbit such as myself is doing so far from home. I have the honor of being apprenticed to the master chef Lynn Woodsearle. She sent me forth into the Wildwood to collect ingredients for the first ever Feast of the Wildwood. Feast of the Wildwood? Yes, but alas, you know how that went. I am so grateful for all the help that you've given me, and am loath to ask for more, but ask I shall. I desperately need your help in gathering ingredients, or the feast will be ruined. I will be ruined. We need meat from the game animals in the wildwood. Oh, please bring me cuts of boar, moose, and bear. Bear? Yes. Also, have I heard tell of a terrible walking tree in these woods? Yes, my master insists that and I do quote, horns are rotten to the core, but their bark produces the perfect flavor for smoking meat and fish. If you come across any of these monstrous walking plants, please bring me their back. Bark. Oh, bark. Okay, not their back, their bark. Yeah, so, not our horn or rotten to the core, I'll tell you that. Okay, collect wild moose meat, boar meat, bear meat, and wildwood horn bark. But maybe these horns aren't very good. And what else?
Could I take a moment of your time?
Yes, one of my master's feast guests loves frog legs. Buttered, grilled, you name it. He loves it. My League of the Axe friends told me that there are an abundance of the critters. So many, in fact, that they are crowding out the smaller frogs in the area. We shall be doing those little ones a favor, if you ask me. Unfortunately, the frogs I need like the lake and moat next to the enemy settlement. Of course, there is no way that I could get close enough to gather up the frogs, but you definitely could. Oh, please, Pine Seed, save the feast and bring me frog legs. Yes, and Stomper and me will be heading south. I have heard of a merchant over in the hill who has a supply of special spices that I require. Well, she is certainly persistent, that's for sure. So, we need to find all sorts of things, such as, well, I don't need anything from crows, right? Or from wolves. I need moose, boar, bear, and horn. And is that a moose? No, that's a warg. That's the moose. There you go. And let's see if I could get some moose meat for this. And let's see how that works. Oh, it looks like I'm also collecting pelts. Actually, if I'm still collecting pelts, I might as well grab a warg's pelt while I'm at it. Oh, actually, is that the settlement that's near the water that needs to be investigated for frogs? I suppose that's a possibility. Oh, that's right. Wargs don't have good enough pelts to count. But wolves do, strange enough. Alright, here you go. Maybe warg pelts are just too evil in order to be able to handle anything. That's always a possibility. Here is the enemy encampment, and of course, here's where we expect to find some. Well, I was looking for frogs, but this is definitely not a frog. Oh, hold on. I think I see frogs ahead. Okay, I see quest rings over these tiny little animals that I would presume are frogs. Close enough. There you go. A wildwood hopper. Another wildwood hopper. Yep, this place certainly has plenty of them. Yeah, I could see. This is definitely right next to the enemy encampment, which is not a very safe place for a hobbit to go. This, so says this hobbit. I also found the entrance to this camp. Caught fast. Destroy supply crates and caught fast. Well, I suppose I could do that. And also, defeat foes in caught fast. Well, I suppose that's also inevitable. And while I'm here, might as well pick up a couple more frogs. Then I can worry about seeing who's inside caught fast and what I can do about them. As I finished collecting the frogs, apparently I found another entrance to the camp, and it looks like we've got some poachers here. Though I'm sure they'll be wondering who's really the poacher, considering that I just poached some of their frogs, but that's another matter. Now let's see what's in here. We're supposed to... Oh yes, destroy supply crates. Yep. Well, there'll be a few of those about here. And also kill a few poachers. Because we certainly don't need them poaching the trees and the animals in the area of the Wildwood, right? Right. I'm out of the orc camp now to find some boar. And I think I found one. Well, at least we're not in Ivendym. We're close to Ivendym, but Ivendym is hard to find boars. At least those that aren't completely poisoned or something like that. Ah! That is definitely a nasty horn. So I need some bark from this thing. Well, it doesn't look like it's going to give up its bark without a bit of a fight. So let us have the fight. And we'll see whether its bark is worse than its bite or whatever. Right now I'm trying to get not to give it too much of a chance to do that. Yeah, there's some bark. And finally, a bear. I was wondering if there were going to be any in this area. But I finally found one. A big bear. Well, bigger than I am, but then I think that's part of the definition of a bear, right? Bigger than a hobbit? I think that's a requirement. I think I found another one of those areas I need to scout. Helva's Edge. Probably the edge of this hill over here. The hill of Helva's Edge is a good place to hunt wild game within the Wildwood. Hunting here will earn you respect with the free peoples and who also hunt in the wilds. Hunt wild game at Helva's Edge. Well, I'm hunting stuff here anyway, so I suppose that'll work. 6 of them. Well, I guess Helva's good hunting. Now let's see if I can catch this boar. That was a little bit of a delayed response. I guess the boar doesn't know when it's hurt. Well then, I'll teach it how to be hurt, right? And we got another one here. And of course, it also helps me with collecting the boar meat from our Hobbit friend. See? Everything works together. Ooh, there are some ordinary boars over here. The bigger ones are nasty. The younger ones, the smaller ones, seem to be a lot more tame. Alright. Something to keep in mind. Yes. These are much, much nastier as opposed to... Oh, those are piglets? You mean the ones that are fighting before were just piglets? Oh, boy. No wonder they seem so tame compared to most boars I run into in Middle-earth. Yes, they're just the youngins. They haven't learned how to be nasty yet. Unlike their parents, who seem to be... Ouch! Ah, I found a campsite. And... that tree doesn't look like it's in the greatest shape. And I have found a couple of people here, including our Hobbit. Hello there.
Hello?
I don't know how I could do without you, Pine Leaf. Well, I could not do this without you at all. I would have to hang my head in shame and return in failure. I can cross off so many ingredients from my list now. You have saved the feast and my apprenticeship. Well, you're welcome.
What do you need?
Well, will you look at that? These are the plumpest frog legs I've ever laid eyes upon. My master will be thrilled, as will her honored guest. Okay, good. Oh, she's not done with me yet.
Could I take a moment of your time?
Ah, my dear Hobbit, a better friend could no one ever ask for. Much have you assisted me, but if you would, I would have one last request. Heavy are the crates of goods that you have helped me gather. My wagon, however, still lies shattered. The merchants here have told me that we can find the materials needed to build a new wagon at the nearby town of Cautfast. I would go myself, but alas, it is full of vicious individuals, and we both know how I'd fare. Oh, please go, friend. Go to Codfast and collect nails, woodworking tools, wheels, and a cut wood. I shall await your return at Trader's Wharf. At Codfast. Wasn't I just there? Oh well. Hello there. You need me to do something? Preferably near Codfast so I could handle 2 trips at once?
Might I take a moment of your time?
Greetings, Warden. I am Linnet Redholm, a Huntress of the Troll Shawls. Perhaps you have heard tales of my deeds? No? Well then, clearly the bards are a lazy lot in Bree. Far have I traveled in Middle-earth, chasing rumors and fabled beasts and dangerous game. Whispers of marvelous creatures lurking in the Wildwood reached my ears, and I set out immediately to make my way to these forests. Imagine now, to my horror, when I came across poisoned traps laid by the filthy orcs and poachers that have infiltrated these woods. Poison is the work of cowards, not the true hunters. I am on the trail of something huge, so I can't attend to it myself. But if you are willing to destroy any of these traps that you come across, they would be made more than worth your while. All right, fine. And what else?
Stay a moment.
Our friends here tell of mighty beasts that have roamed the wildwood, some attacking all in their path with wanton abandon. I have tracked a few of them and feel confident their behavior is not natural. Whatever sickness has driven these animals to such violence must not be spread to the rest of the forest. I came here seeking glory, but I am wise enough to know that I am outnumbered. If you will take down these sickened creatures, I will ensure the bards know your name. Defeat fabled beasts in the wildwood. What, they're fabled for being sick or something? Oh, that's just the prologue! Of course. Brunder, the Great Boar.
Might I take a moment of your time?
There are many dangerous things in the wildwood, but folks speak of Brunder, the Great Boar, in nervous, hushed tones. Some say his madness was brought on by the frothing sickness. Others insist there is a darkness in the wildwood itself that slowly twists the creatures within. Either way, Roderick is vicious and responsible for attacking more than one group of merchants who have tried to make their way through the wildwood. Alright, I guess I can handle that. What else do we need to do? Actually, let me take the poison trap ones off of here so that I can have room to add more quests. Dugard the Black Elk.
Would you do something for me?
Yes, he is one of the first tales to reach my ears. They say that he roams the southern Wildwood, fleet of foot and fierce of horn. Think you are up to the task of defeating him? Well, there is one way to find out. And apparently there's also a white stag. Well, of course there has to be a white stag, right?
Could I speak with you a moment?
Rumors that drew me here mention of Wengorm, a stag with a coat like snow and antlers that rise above the tree tops. I am inclined to give credence to the less credence to the last bit, but a white stag would be quite a catch. Yes, I have a feeling that last bit is a little bit
Would you do
exaggerated.
something for me?
The stories of Hlubloth the Silverwork speak of how this creature seems to form out of the mist, attacking the unwary and leaving carnage in his wake. You would be a great service to the less able if you do, if you could defeat this monster. Alright, fine. So a Silverwork, a white stag, a huge deer with the biggest. Well, I have a feeling that is not the white stag or anything like that. Somehow that looks like just an ordinary. And I was going to say ordinary wasp, but that's a bit big for an ordinary wasp. Ah, I was on my way to Codfest and I ran into one of the poisoned traps. So apparently those things are going to be all over the place. Now, entrance to Codfest. I think there are several of them, and there are also orcs here. A fire starter, and having your fire starters next to your own town is probably not the best thing. But of course, he might have a be using a copy of Boar's Boy as kindling or something like that. Who knows? I think I'm getting pretty close to finishing out those books, right? Let's see. I've got one more copy of Bulwer's, one more of those. Watch Against the Night. I need one more. I have one more. I only need one more page from all three of the books. Wow, the Wildwood is really being good in getting me these pages. I should keep that in mind for any future characters that I have. Now, what have we got here? Well, we've got these guys all over the place, but I need to find things all over the place. That's what I need to find. See, a sacks of nails, woodworking tool. She needs 6 sacks of nails to make this wagon? Good grief. I think I should recommend her to a certain father and son pair in Gondor if we weren't so far from there. Let's see. That poacher seems to be pretty close to something there. Probably a wheel. We've got all sorts of things here. Alright, there you go. Now for the sniper. Ouch, ouch, ouch. There you go. Now that I've stemmed the blood. Let's see, and that is the... Oh, there's another one out here! Oh, come on! Good, you can't have a simple fight without several more of them coming and joining in with you. I mean, it's rude. No one invited them to the fight, right? Now, let me go and find... See, these are a sack of nails. All right. Oh, I thought all these... I was wondering, what were those for? Oh, and there's a wheel. Good. And here we have some cut wood. And I also need some woodworking tools because apparently there are none of... And does she know how to make a wagon, or is she going to ask me to do that too? I don't know. I've never studied woodworking all that much, though. Sometimes they ask me to do some rather ridiculous thing as I go about. Somebody has some tools. Oh, hold on. More? Oh, another sack of nails. Where are the tools? Ah, finally! Some tools. We've got, yes, everything you need in order to make something. I'm sure that will make Minda Heathertoes quite happy. Now let's get out of here. I brought you your supplies.
Is there something I can do for you?
Ah, you did it, Pine Seed. You ensured not only my continued employment, but every ingredient needed for the feast as well. This will be a grand day of celebration, a light of hope during these dark times. The League members here have offered to assist me in assembling the new wagon. I should be on the road home in no time. Thank you 100 times. Thank you. You're welcome. And let's see. Crispy garlic frog legs recipe. Crispy garlic frog legs recipe. Right? I suppose so. There you go. That takes care of that little adventure. But we still have some animals, such as the white stag, to find. And we also need to find some poison traps, as well as deal with other matters here. But I think before we do that, we are going to probably need a little break. So perhaps we may even go to the Spring Festival. What do? We'll find that out in the next episode of Wandering the Wildwood.